Welcome to Lesson 5 in Unit 19, Sensing Tsunamis. In this lesson, students will work to answer the question, how can we communicate a warning over a long distance? In this lesson, students construct circuits to learn how energy transfers. They learn about Morse code and design a way to communicate over long distances using signals or codes. Students figure out that information can be communicated over long distances by transferring energy through electrical currents. Students make connections to the storyline by considering that Morse code might not be the most effective way to warn people about tsunamis because it is not so easy for everyone to understand. There are several opportunities for ELA cross-curricular connections throughout the lesson. You can look for specific standard connections in the Unit 19 Teacher Guide. This lesson will take approximately 4 to 5 days to complete. For the Engage portion, you'll remind students that in the last lesson, they learned that sensors can be used to detect tsunamis or other things when human senses cannot be used. You'll show students the video Tsunami Strike in Japan Part 3 Warning Systems and ask students what they see and hear and what questions they have. You'll revisit the driving question board. Add in the new questions and highlight any other ones connected to the learning goals of this lesson by calling attention to questions about how messages about earthquakes and tsunamis are communicated to people over a long distance. For the Explore portion, you'll show students the microbit again and remind them that this is a computer that has sensors. You'll ask them how they think the sensors work. You'll organize the materials for the buzzer investigation into sets for 6 groups. You can review the list of materials here. Each group will get 1 of each of the materials and 2 of the alligator wires. You'll have students use the Buzzer Investigation Student Journal page. Review the instructions with students and note that they will be using these circuits again in the Elaborate portion. Encourage them to keep them intact after this activity. In the Explain portion of the lesson, students will engage in a class discussion. You'll invite them to gather and analyze their observations around the buzzer investigation. You'll use the provided questions to guide the discussion around how can we communicate a warning across a long distance. The goal of this class discussion is to analyze student observations and explain how a circuit can be used to create a sound and connect it to the sensors and sirens used in a tsunami warning system. You will use the discussion to create the Lesson 5 summary chart. From the discussion, students should understand that wires could carry the message from a sensor to a siren using electric currents. A sensor could cause a switch to close, allowing the electrical energy to flow. A message could also be sent using Morse code from the ocean where the tsunami starts. Someone receiving the message would have to decode the message and then warn people. You'll then have students read The Buzz on Electricity and post and discuss the electric current, circuit, and switch vocabulary cards. You'll allow students to revise their energy transfer pathways and reflection questions in the Buzzer Investigation Student Journal page. For the Elaborate portion, you'll read Jack Rabbit McCabe and the Electric Telegraph. Use the Read Aloud Guide to help students learn about how communication can happen through electricity using Morse code. You'll show students a video about Morse code and ask them questions about how Morse code could warn people of a tsunami. During the discussion, post and discuss the Morse code vocabulary card. You'll divide students into pairs or groups, distribute the circuit building materials from the Explore, and have them use the Communicating in Morse Code Student Journal page. For the Evaluate portion, you'll have students complete an assessment using the Circuits and Communication Quick Check Student Journal page. To support student sense-making across the unit, ask, What did we learn about using electricity and Morse code to communicate a tsunami warning over a long distance? And what new questions do we have? By the end of this lesson, students will have made observations to explain how energy is transferred through circuits, generated and compared multiple coding systems that use a circuit to send a message over a distance using electrical currents. In Lesson 6, students will explore how computers might be used to make a better tsunami warning system for people. For more information about this unit, visit myscipartners.com.